¿Es Glenn?
¿Habéis visto? Ha dicho más o menos, ¿eh?
Tammy Slaton's terrifying hospital scares emotional breakdown. Tammy Slaton's life has always been under a microscope. Fans of 1,000-pound sisters know her as the bold, often unpredictable sister of Amy Slaton, someone who openly shares her struggles with weight, love, and family. But behind the cameras, behind the reality TV drama, lies a story of fear, heartbreak, and near-death experiences that few have ever truly understood. This is part one of her journey. The day everything changed. The morning started like any other. Tammy awoke in her home. The familiar walls filled with memories of childhood, family gatherings, and the long years of battling her weight. But on this day, the routine would shatter into terror. As she attempted to move from her bed, a sharp pain gripped her chest. Her breathing felt shallow, labored, and heavy, as if the air itself had become a weight pressing down on her lungs. Every heartbeat felt amplified like a drumbeat warning of imminent danger. Within moments, the fear escalated. Tammy tried to call for help, but panic clouded her thinking. She had experienced breathing issues before, but this was different, more urgent, more terrifying. Every step she took sent waves of dizziness crashing over her. Her heart raced, her palms sweated, and a gnawing fear settled in her stomach. For the first time, she admitted to herself the possibility she might not make it through this day. Her family quickly noticed something was wrong. Amy, ever protective of her sister, rushed in, alarm etched across her face. "Tammy, what's happening? Talk to me," she pleaded, her voice trembling. Tammy's words were shallow gasps fragmented by fear. She tried to explain the pressure in her chest, the tightening in her throat. But the panic made speech nearly impossible. The moment was surreal. A simple morning routine had transformed into a race against time. Within minutes, paramedics arrived, their presence bringing a mixture of relief and renewed anxiety. 2.
They wanted him to confront Tammy, argue with Amy, and open up wounds he had kept closed for years. When he refused, they pressured him harder. Then came the scene at Tammy's house, the one that would break him. Producers secretly primed Tammy and Amy to bring up old resentments, to challenge him, to push his buttons. They lied to him, saying they just wanted a family check-in. He walked into a setup, unaware he was about to be emotionally ambushed while cameras rolled. When Tammy accused him of acting like a hero and having an easier journey, he didn't snap back. He didn't argue. He stared at the floor, silent, tears gathering in his eyes. Crew members whispered, "Keep rolling," as if his pain was a prize. Something inside him shattered. He lifted his head, voice trembling, and said words no reality show producer ever wants to hear. "I'm not doing this anymore." They thought he meant a break. He meant forever. He removed his microphone, placed it on the table, and walked out. A cameraman followed until he was ordered to stop. Chris later described that moment as the instant he realized he had lost too much of himself to a system that didn't care about him. But the emotional collapse had begun long before that day. He had been hiding depression for months, maybe years. He was tired of being the strong one, tired of protecting everyone else, tired of internet trolls attacking him, tired of producers manipulating him, tired of pretending everything was okay. In late 2024, TLC even pitched a spin-off based on his risk of relapse, proposing weekly weigh-ins, therapy sessions, and invasive filming of his home life. He refused. They didn't accept his refusal. The worst blow came the morning of the breakdown. Just before arriving to film, he had received a medical phone call informing him that tests revealed complications from his previous surgery. He needed urgent monitoring. He needed to slow down. He needed rest. But he didn't want to ruin filming or stress the FOMO.
The Family Secrets Explode is the first episode of Season 7 of 1,000-Pound Sisters. Hi there everybody. Greetings from another thrilling video. I'm Jennifer from 90 Day Insider, and I'm here to provide you the most recent news, drama, and exclusive behind-the-scenes looks. Let's get started. Fans anticipated more of the same when Pound Sisters returned for its 7th season. Amy and Tammy fighting, Chris making jokes while attempting to keep everyone together, and Amanda interrupting with scathing one-liners. They were surprised by the first episode, which was more akin to a scandal documentary than a family reality show. TLC was evident from the first frame that the focus of season 7 was no longer weight loss. It was all about surviving. Surviving relationships, surviving reputations, and surviving health. A broad view of Dixon, Kentucky. The hamlet made notorious by the Slaton sisters opened the program. The sound design created a foreboding atmosphere, and the early morning sky appeared gloomy, even stormy. Against this background, Tammy swords might be heard. Everyone believes they are aware of the truth. However, they are not ignorant. This family has darker secrets than anyone can fathom. The scandal train then abruptly departed the station. The broken facade of Amy. Amy Halterman Slaton was the main focus of the first half of the show. She had been portrayed in previous seasons as the one who got it together, losing weight, getting married, and having children. Supporters believed she had emerged from the shadows. However, that image was torn apart in episode 1. There was mayhem as the cameras followed Amy inside her home. Toys, discarded fast food wrappers, and laundry baskets leaking onto the floor littered the living room. Baby Glenn was crying from his playpen, and her oldest kid, Gage, was acting irrationally. Amy appeared worn out as she paced back and forth, her eyes dark with stress and her hair disheveled. The phone call then arrived. She snapped at someone on the other end as captured by the microphone. Her remarks were surprising, irate, and harsh. "You have no right to advise me on how to raise my children. You guys have already taken everything away from me. Do you believe I can be frightened by the court? I'm not giving up on my children." The editors ensured that viewers were aware of the seriousness. A stack of official-looking envelopes on the kitchen counter caught their attention. One had the county court system's return address on it, while another was plainly branded notice. This went beyond simply being a messy parent. This was the first sign of a court case. Cut to Amy with mascara streaming down her face during her confession. "I never imagined that I would be sitting here fearing that my boys may be taken away. The pressure is too much. Even if I'm attempting to do everything correctly, everyone claims that I'm a lousy mother. They might be correct." This was a shock to many who had applauded Amy's mommy makeover. It was evident from the debut that Amy's world was collapsing, and the cameras would not turn away. Not the redemption fans expected from Tammy's return. Tammy was making a spectacular comeback from recovery while Amy was falling apart. Fans were aware in real time that she had overcome her near-fatal health scare and even shed a large amount of weight. However, the Tammy who returned home wasn't the reborn butterfly that everyone had hoped for. With a sharper attitude than ever before, she wheeled up to the home in her wheelchair, oxygen tank still hooked. The porch was decked out with balloons and a large sign that said, "Welcome home, Tammy." Her siblings gave her a stiff, practiced hug. The first explosive, then detonated. Tammy did not express gratitude or a smile to her family during her private confession. Rather, she mocked the camera. "They are all phonies. I know what they've been saying, yet they are acting like they are glad to see me. They still believe that I am the issue. But what do you know? I am not alone in having demons." Skeletons were given to Amy. Skeletons went to Chris. They are all lying. And I am going to reveal the truth to the world. In an instant, Tammy changed the season's meaning to include more than simply her atonement. The goal was to expose everyone else. Tammy snapped later in the show as the family gathered in the living room to catch up. Tammy retorted when Amy attempted to make a joke about how the house felt too quiet without her. "At least it wasn't I screaming and wailing all the time, Amy. You are not deceiving anyone with your good mom persona. Everyone is aware of your activities." Amy stopped. There was silence in the room. Before cutting away, the producers allowed the awkwardness to last for a full 10 seconds. Scandalous, unvarnished, and establishing a conflict that would characterize the entire season. It was the epitome of reality television. Mewett Chris, the revealed good brother. Chris Combs had been portrayed for 6 seasons as the family's devoted, down-to-earth sibling. However, episode 1 revealed of another side of him that suggested he wasn't as pure as his admirers thought. Money came up at a family dinner scene, as it always does. Amy voiced her displeasure with the medical expenses. Tammy said that her siblings were taking advantage of her notoriety. At that point, Chris lost it. He yelled as he slammed his fork down, "You guys have no idea how much I've been doing. I've been negotiating to make sure this show is still going strong. Had it not been for me, TLC would have left several seasons ago. To keep the cameras rolling, I did stuff you don't want to know about." There was silence at the table. "What kind of deals, Chris?" inquired Amanda. Chris, however, did not respond. "Ain't none of your business," he grumbled, shoving food into his mouth. After that, the show shifted to a covert late-night scenario. Chris was captured on camera meeting with an unidentified man outside a nearby bar. Words like cash, contract, and don't tell the others were picked up on the audio, and the producers masked the man's face, which fueled rumors that Chris was involved in some sort of dubious backdoor deal with TLC executives. Did he offer the tabloid stories about his sisters? Although the mystery remained unsolved, it was evident that Chris had evolved beyond his role as the funny big brother. His secrets had the potential to destroy the family. Amanda loses it. Fans were stunned by Amanda's emotional moment. Even though Amy, Tammy, and Chris dominated the majority of the broadcast, Amanda, who frequently offered comic relief, was well known for her ferocious temper and amusing ganellinas. However, she was shown crying in episode 1. In an in-person interview, she acknowledged, "This family is disintegrating despite my best efforts to appear tough. There is new drama every day. It seems impossible for us to love one another without first destroying one another. And I'm afraid everyone. I'm afraid that one of us won't survive this season. Her remarks weren't interpreted as hyperbole. Her confession was accompanied by a spooky soundtrack that the editors inserted, giving the impression that disaster was imminent. The detonating family battle. A full-fledged family fight near the end of episode 1 was its high point. With the intention of having a peaceful welcome home dinner, everyone assembled in the living room. Instead, it was the site of the season's first breakdown. Amy claimed that Tammy didn't value the sacrifices she made. Amy was accused by Tammy of being a bad mother. Once more, Chris yelled about his covert deals. Amanda sobbed and begged them to cease. Tammy once screamed at the top of her lungs, got out of her chair, and tore off her oxygen tube. It doesn't matter if I pass away tomorrow. At least I'll pass away knowing that I was honest. You are all phonies. Tammy stormed out of the house into the cold night air, forcing producers to hurry in. As the team frantically chased after her, the camera stumbled along with her. The rest of the family sat in startled silence as Tammy vanished into the night. A black screen and eerie writing marked the end of the episode. The Slaton family confronts their most sinister secrets Todd 8 this season. Not everyone will make it through what is ahead. The fans were left stunned by that. Tammy could have stormed out at the end of the inaugural show, but TLC didn't intend to do that. The cameras returned to the turmoil inside Amy's home after the warning. Not everyone will survive what's coming, flashed on the dark screen. The family's faces were white from the outburst as they sat in startled silence. Glenn whined in his playpen as Gage sobbed in the background. The strain was intolerable. Then Amy lost her temper. Amy's complete disintegration. Amy yelled at Chris and Amanda while raising her hands in the air. You guys don't understand. She always paints me as the bad guy. I've been attempting to keep this family together, and I received nothing in return. Hatred, nothing. But you guys have no idea how much I've been through in the past several months. As she kicked an empty soda can across the floor, her voice broke. Her confessional, which was recorded later that evening, was cut to by the producers. Amy sat in a chair with swollen red eyes. With 2 children, many believe I'm fulfilling my dream. However, what is the reality? I'm going to drown. Ever since Michael and I broke up, the blame has been on me. CPS is breathing down my neck. I have bills I can't pay, and people are criticizing me online. What about Tammy? Now that she shed a few pounds, she's out here acting like a saint. Please, people wouldn't call me the evil guy if they knew the truth about her. The delivery of the final statement was venomous. It was menace, not merely self-pity. Amy was